When you don't see something working, you definitely need to change it. We'll talk about how I could have lost less money this morning on Market Open Trading. Stay tuned. What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. It's Miguel here with Market Open. Now, I took 2 trades this morning and they were both red. So what I said earlier is that there was actually a way that I could have lost less money. So I had a relatively short list of stocks on the list this morning: Tesla, CBPO, CMCM, EL, and Nike. And I put them out in the Facebook room. And really the only one that I liked was Tesla. Tesla was actually a pretty good short last Friday? Yeah, so it was Monday, Friday. So Tesla was a pretty good short on Friday, and it worked out pretty well. But unfortunately today it was not the case for that. So it was down 4 to 5% on the morning, and it didn't really quite put in the candles that I was expecting, and it didn't set up at all, so I just didn't take it. Now, so what actually ended up setting up was CMCM, and to me, this I don't really regret at all. I mean, there was a little bit of a tweaking that I could have done to where I could have made money on this trade instead of lost money on this trade. Now, typically on a opening range breakout, so either that or a 3-candle play, which it's a long range, short range candle, and then next candle goes over the highs and breaks out. So this morning, CMCM was the only stock that set up this morning. So for me, for an opening range breakout, you got to go, if you're going long, it has to go up. A green candle, it's either a green candle or some sort of indecision. It has to pull back, and then it breaks out over the highs. So here, right off the bat, CMCM pulled down at 970, came back up to 1030. So it set the high. Next candle pulled back all the way down to, now this is kind of where I could have put my stop down a couple more cents, and it would have ended up working out. But the plan is, and the plan still is that my stop is at the bottom of the second candle. So as you guys can see here, the low is 1003 on this candle, so down here. So technically, according to my plan, the stop is at 1002. So 1002 is my stop now. And if it breaks out over 1030, I'm going to go ahead and get in. And I was looking at about a 25-cent stop, a little bit over. So I got in, as you guys can see, I got filled here at 941. So very next candle, I got filled at 941 at 1030. Didn't really get that much slippage either. So now my stop was down here. I was triggered into the trade, and my target was going to be somewhere around 1058, somewhere around there. And as you guys can see, it actually ended up hitting up here and in the very next candle. But right before that, this candle right here actually ended up taking me out. Now, this is what I mean by I could have played it a little bit better. CMCM wasn't that great of a setup this morning because the daily is really not that good. It had a level here of 1055. And it has a 200 moving average. So we have relatively a decent window to play within. But this candle completely psyched me out. It came up, it triggered me, and then the next candle came back down and triggered me out of the trade. So now, I could have put my stop here right under $10. So my stop would have been $9.99. So if it came down below $10, then it would have triggered me out. But remember, guys, that is not the plan. So yes, $10, I know that it is a very good support point. I know, and I literally sat there and I thought about it. Should I put my stop under $10? I said, no, that's not the plan. Typically, I put it down below the second candle. So technically it shouldn't come down below that, but unfortunately it did. It started getting a little bit spready. It whipped down to 10, kicked me out, and then very next candle, ripped and just hit target. So kind of unfortunate. I ended up losing $120 on that trade. Triggered at 1030, got kicked out at $10. So I got a little bit of slippage on that as well. Now, the overall topic of definitely this video is, if something is not working, you need to take it out of your toolbox. So statistically, over the past 5 trades, I've lost money on VXX. So 4 out of the 5 trades that I've taken on VXX, I've lost money. Now, if you guys don't know what VXX is, it's a volatility index basically, and it does the exact opposite of what the SPY does. Now, I made a lot of money on the VXX during the time of the pullback, when a lot of people thought that the market was just pulling back too much and we were heading into a recession and a bear market and all this stuff. Guess what, guys? Now we're near all-time highs, and not a lot of people are panicking. So, for some reason, I think maybe just like the lack of stocks that I had this morning on the watch list, and I just decided, well, it looks like VXX is might be in play, and I was thinking that the SPY was going to close the gap for the day, and unfortunately that was not the case. So let me show you guys what I saw on the SPY this morning. So let me change this over to the 5-minute. So this is what I saw this morning. I saw us trending lower. We broke lows, headed lower, and so basically this is the candle that ended up kicking me out of VXX right here on the SPY, because it's a reverse ETN. So it goes twice as fast as the SPY moves. So you'll see here that on VXX I got triggered at 48.90 or 28.97, right at 9.58. So right here in this candle, as it broke up and over the highs, I was thinking, I'll put it here. I'll put my stop down here at the end of the at the low of day, and it should be all right. Nope, the SPY is almost on a very short-term basis. The SPY is almost next to impossible to predict on what it's going to do, because there are so many things that play into what the SPY can do overall. Remember, guys, it's a collection of the top 500 stocks in the market, so it's an overall consensus of what's generally happening. So on a short-term basis, to me, it is almost next to impossible to predict. Some people will sit here and trade that thing all day, and some people will choose to disagree with me. That's completely fine. But statistically speaking, for me, trying to predict the SPY is almost next to impossible. So it's kind of hard for me. And if I'm losing 80% of the time that I'm trading on VXX, then obviously I need to take it out, and I would have only lost $120. Instead of the 216 that I ended up losing on the day. So if I didn't take that trade on VXX, then I would have only lost $120. Now, Mondays have been relatively hard for me in the past month. I mean, I've been green overall for the past couple of weeks. I've actually been on a winning streak for the past several weeks with like 70 to 80% accuracy. But just Mondays, every single Monday for the month of August, I've been red, whether it's $13 or $300. So somewhere in between, just Mondays are not cutting it for me at the moment, and they're typically slow. So it's kind of a pattern that I've been noticing, that the watch lists are not very long, and I'm just taking some unnecessary trades that I shouldn't be taking. So I got kicked out of the VXX then, ended up losing $96 on the trade. Now what I'm going to do, and that's why I'm putting this out there, to just be able to hold myself accountable, I'm not going to trade the VXX anymore. So if you guys see me trading VXX or saying anything about the VXX, feel free to leave a comment and yell at me and tell me you're not supposed to be trading the VXX, guys. So I'll leave that up to you guys. Hopefully somebody will yell at me if you guys see me trading it, unless the market starts tanking again. Then I'm going to go back to trading it. Otherwise, yell at me. That's fine with me. But either way, so I'm going to go ahead and take that out of the toolbox. I'll be down $216 for the day. Not a big loss for me. I decided to not even take the third trade, because I knew after I took that loss that I'm just pushing it, and there's really nothing out there for me to trade. The only thing that ended up setting up that morning was CMCM. The main stock that I ended up liking was Tesla, but it was going completely the opposite way of the gap, since we were gapping down 4 or 5%, but it was just ripping up. So it did not end up setting up for the day. Now, the other thing was EL. This thing went sideways. Nike, it did okay. It gapped up a little bit. It's just I was a little bit uncomfortable with the 52-week high here. I thought it wasn't going to go much higher. There weren't really many news on it. And CBPO, this moved sideways completely. I had a question also in the Facebook room about CBPO. They had a what was it? I think they had a buyout offer at 118, but the thing hasn't moved up to 118. Usually, when a lot of stocks get offered or companies get offered to get bought up at a certain price, a lot of the times the price will skyrocket near that actual price. So there's another company that's willing or is looking to pay $118 for their shares, but the price is nowhere near. As you guys can see, it's still sitting at $100. And somebody asked me, like, why is that happening? And to be honest with you guys, I'm not really quite sure on that, because 90% of the times that I see a buyout price on something, the price will typically just skyrocket and hang out around the price during the rumor part of whenever the PR is released, the press release. And then within the next couple of days, the stock will get acquired around that price, and it'll just completely go sideways, and the shares will get bought up. That is typically how they react. But during this time on CBPO, looks like the investors are not really quite sure on taking that risk, and they're going to leave the price around $100. So that's really the only guess that that I could put out there. That's my educated guess on really what's happening on there. But yeah, those are the only two trades that I took for today. If you guys have any questions, make sure to put it down in the comment section below. If you guys have not done so, make sure to guys check out the link below on to learn how to day trade. I also actually give you guys a free guide on my 2018 swing trading strategy. So if you guys want to make sure to check that out, you can. It's completely free. It gives you an A through Z walkthrough on what I do for my swing trades. And I will talk to you guys next time. Bye.